Oh, hello, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box. Now, I've often said that the sign of a good song is one that can withstand any sort of mutilation and manipulation across genres. In other words, maybe a song is written for a Broadway show, maybe it's written by a rock band, but if you can play it in a jazz setting, a country setting, a disco setting, any setting of your choice, an arrangement by the 101 Strings Orchestra, then you've got yourself a good song. And this theory was really put to the test in 1983 when a relatively obscure Dutch artist called Taco, of all things, did a very 80s new wavy, dancey version of the Irving Berlin tune Putting on the Ritz. Now, Irving Berlin was still alive, if you can believe it, in 1983. He was 95 years old, and his song that came out in the 20s um, received new life. Now, Irving Berlin, for those who don't know, he was someone who was very central to the Great American Songbook. One of the very first pop songs to go universally huge was his 1911 hit Alexander's Ragtime Band. And he continued to be on a roll for decades, and his stuff, it was on the pop charts, it was on Broadway, it was everywhere. He even wrote God Bless America. And like I said, if you're a songwriter and want to gain a paycheck every year, write a song about a holiday, whether it's the 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, any holiday you can think of. Armenian and Azerbaijani Independence Day, they just signed a peace treaty, so they're both kind of on my mind. Aram Khachaturian, by the way, Armenian, one of my favorite composers of all time. I've done videos on him. Anyway, back to the taco. And he did again this very weird version of Putting on the Ritz, but it was a surprise hit. It was on the MTV with him running around, doing his thing. And as a result, Irving Berlin, at the age of 95, became the oldest songwriter to ever have a hit single, because, of course, this was a cover of his song. And this proves several things. It shows that even an old song, if it's well written and if it has the fundamentals of a good song, it can be remade and redone and reimagined into any genre you can think of, including genres that didn't even exist at the time the song was written. In fact, every single instrument on this song, the drum machine sequencers, the synthesizers, all of those they weren't even invented, not by decades, when the song was originally written, which just goes to show you that longevity is a very interesting thing. Now, maybe you wouldn't want this guy to resurrect your song, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, and it's catchy. If you listen to it, I guarantee you it will be stuck in your head all day. As always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.